me falling right back.
Yo, JD here, Terrell Linus, and as you can see here today, we are back with AOR, and the last time out we were at Baku and had a good result, came second place after getting the pole position, but was also disappointed at the same time because I felt I could have capitalised on gaining more points on my championship rival, the Flying Finn. But we're at Austria here today though, a track that I always usually do say, but I really do love this track. With this, Baku, Suzuka, Silverstone, I say these are definitely among my favourite tracks to drive. And I'm showing you my setup here today because this is a very different one to what I used, or what I have been using pretty much every single race, mainly the suspension. And I got this from a time trial. Someone, Tira Button, he got this on Spain. He did his world record lap. And I tried it out and I did a 5.4 in practice with this setup, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick with it. And yeah, if it's giving me good pace at the start of the race, we were doing like really low 8s and stuff as well, and it was looking really good. But the only difference with this setup is it's really loose. It's not really nowhere near as stable as the one I usually use, which is like the 7.2 7.4 5.5. It's in my hot lap videos. That's the suspension I use every single time. And the suspension geometry, everything was different apart from the brakes pretty much on this. And yeah, my setup was, I think I did do an 8.5 of it, but it was a very difficult, not 8.5, a 5.5 around this track, and it was a very difficult 5.5 to get, whereas a 5.4 felt like there was even some time left in the tank. So it was quite oversteery, not as good on traction, but mid-corner grip was insane. You could literally just throw it into the corner. So for this one here, see how much speed we're taking, so much speed going through these corners. It's absolutely insane. And this is my fastest lap of the session actually, which was a 5.7, which I was pretty disappointed with because at the entrance, well, coming off turn 1 here, and we had a bad exit on my actual lap, and you can see how much time we're gaining already on that last lap. So it wasn't a good sector 1 or good exit off this top corner as well on my last lap. So pretty disappointing because the grid is so close here, and the track is a very short lap, which gives opportunities for people if they put in a good lap. With the caliber drivers in this league, you go get punished quite big time, and you can see we're up on our time, but we've locked up. We've actually gone straight on, so we've pretty much thrown away all that possible advantage. As Finn does a 5.3, so GG to him. I don't think anyone could really beat that on that day, but I knew there was a 5.4 in the tank, and yeah, we're just not doing it at the moment. And you need to perform on qualifying, which is something I just don't, I'm much better in the race, I feel, with the consistency. That's definitely my stronger part of my game. I know I've got the one that pace to be very good in qualifying because we got pole position last race. So yeah, but it's a wet race here, and for the first time this season I was unsure really, because with this setup I've had on here, it was pretty alien to me. But wet conditions, as soon as I saw that, I thought, you know what, we had a bad qualifying, we can still win this race. I believed we could do it. We did it from 7th at Australia in round 1, but not a good start here. We've already lost the position, being a little bit too cautious. But as you can see, we're running those 82-55 brakes as you saw myself, so we can brake very late. So the door's open here, so we've got down the inside 2 cars, managed to just stop the car, understeering a bit, been caught just a little bit, and we've been spun round, and that is us into last place. And that was pretty frustrating at the time, but to be honest, looking back at my own footage, I feel it was definitely optimistic. It was more my fault. I'd definitely take the blame for that. That wasn't really anyone else's fault. I think that was a racing incident / more my fault. But I felt it wasn't like a ruthless or, all guns blazing dive bomb. It's just in the wet conditions, 3 wide, because of the tightness of that corner. It's just not going to work. But you can see now, setting the quickest lap, so we have the pace, but I wasn't feeling confident in the car really at all. And I was really, to be honest, even though we were lapping the same as the Flying Finn at front, I think he was probably a little bit faster actually, but we just had no confidence. I just felt like I had so much more time I could have done than this. It just felt very slow, and you'll be able to see through the set for this. So go down the inside of Evo, so just trying to really scare him off the racing line, because it's going to be very difficult to overtake in these conditions, particularly around this track where it's more of a stop-start. But as you can see, Evo's gone out wide here, so this is another possible opportunity. So I think he can go down the inside, a bit of a 50-50 move, a half-committed move there, so not really going full commitment. So he's struggling on the traction, so now we should get a good exit coming off here, coming into the penultimate corner. This should be a relatively easy move, not trying to go too deep to push him out wide or anything, and that's us into 12th places. I think a few people pitted for damage and stuff as well, but yeah, as I was saying, it was just the setup bit. It just felt it was really good in grip, like throwing it into the corner, but then on traction and just on traction during the corner, it just had no stability at all. I was just struggling so badly. I've never struggled this much in the wet. And I really honestly do feel down. If we've gone down for that's more of a dive bomb we've done there, but luckily there was no contact. And yeah, we're quite desperate at this stage because I wanted to get past these cars, and because dirty air is a big factor in this game, I wanted to get past these cars and get some clean air and try and do as best damage limitation as possible, because a flying thing, I think he's way out in the lead at this point. And it's frustrating when we feel we even have the pace still as well. It's just very difficult to get past these cars in these conditions, and you just got to wait for mistakes really to happen. But you can see, I think it's a good example, coming from this last corner, gone on the traction here, getting the curb a little bit, but that was more to be on the curb. But I just had no confidence at all, no, as I said, no stability or anything, and I would have loved to have seen what kind of pace I could have really done if I was on my upper setup, even though, as I said, we're still doing very good pace. I think probably the second quickest car on track. But I felt if we had my optimal setup that I probably should have stuck with, rather than faffing around on 10 minutes before the lobby opened, then I think we could have done some serious damage even from this. So, but still trying to make up some paces as we've gone past Evo, and now we've gone past ESR Simon as well, and that's us into 11th place. So you can see there's cars ahead of us, so it's still possible. They're making a little bit of contact, so braking just a little bit too late there, and I was trying to let him go at the same time as well, whilst trying to not let Evo go past. So I was trying to be fair, but also not lose any position, or ESR Simon go past, sorry. But we'll go try and go for the switchback, see what we can do here, and we'll just go follow Reynolds through. Simon, there's no really where he can go. Now try and get a traction here, see if we can get a good exit, which we just about managed to do. So go down the inside penultimate corner again, really good opportunity, and we managed to do it. We managed to pull it off, and now we're finally in a points paying position, which is something at least, because I just finishing outside the points would have been a disaster really around here. So coming now, moving on to the next few laps, and we caught up to Jason. So again, the pace was starting to get into a bit more of the rhythm now, but still I just wasn't feeling any confidence at all. I just really just didn't feel at home at all, when normally in these conditions I usually do. But going down the inside Jason there, quite a relatively simple move, trying to cover the switchback, using the lean mix, get good wheel spin or good traction off there, and we're into 9th place in the Grand Prix. Now we're coming behind Joe, who I believe we had that contact with on the first lap as well. I think he had some damage himself, but coming through here now, see again if we could do a slingshot of this corner, which we did in the past. I think on the last game we used this corner as a good slingshot corner, but we're not going to be close enough on this occasion. Does a little bit of a defend. We can see how much grip, that's what I'm talking about really. We have so much grip on the entry, to initial grip going into the corner, but just on traction and just controlling the car and oversteer, it was really horrible to drive. It was really just not nice at all. But going into turn 1, managed to get alongside Joe, so compromising his line and exit. So I was trying to get a good exit, going to the left hand side to force him to defend for turn 2, or turn 3 I'd say. Coming into this, coming out side by side, not going to go around the out, or actually we are going to go around the outside, and braking very late. Running on this curb, which is really you do not want to do, because there's just it provides no traction at all. But still, we've managed to just get ahead of Joe and Jason, so I couldn't really see where Joe was. We put a wheel on the curb, and we didn't even lock up. It's because I was on the curb. I felt if I broke too hard, then I would lock up, so I was trail braking too much. I ended up going straight on, and we've just undid all that hard work again. So now we've got to do it all over again to try and get past Jason, Joe and Reynolds at the same time. So a very frustrating race, but it's of my own fault really. We just didn't hook it up in the qualifying. But to be honest as well, even coming back to last, I felt if I was a bit more decisive about the setup and actually practiced the wet as well, I didn't think, well, I did think it would be wet, but we just, to be honest, my mind just went blank when I was preparing for this race. I just didn't even think to do a wet session, which I should have done, because every session we did in dynamic, it was dry every single time. So I wasn't really thinking about the wet. But to be honest, that's not an excuse at all, because the wet is definitely probably my best conditions, and I know how to drive in the wet round here. I think I've done a time trial in the wet round here, so it's definitely very familiar to me. But I felt I just definitely made an error, strategic error with the setup. It was pretty costly, I think, to be honest, in this. And yeah, in the dry, I think it would have worked very, very well. But in these conditions, it just didn't. It just wasn't clicking at all. I just felt I just couldn't get anywhere near my raw potential, what I could do. But you know, while you're in a race, you've got to put that to the back of your mind, and you just got to focus on the task at hand. And the task at hand is just to try and create as much damage limitation as possible. But we've managed to get back into 9th place now, back onto the rear of Joe. Maybe figured to go move here, so he half defends on the inside. So we're going to try and get a decent exit. So he compromises his line. We're early on the throttle. No DRS in these conditions, of course. And now let's see. Good straight line speed. Well, as yeah, we're running 2.6 wings for this, and we should go around the outside here. So braking very, very late with that 82 brake bias, very, very, very high brake bias, and we just about pulled out the move. Try to leave some space, so just go to the middle of the track, and that's a move done. And now we've got Langman ahead of us, good few seconds ahead of us. I'm not quite sure, so it's lap 18, and he's about 3 seconds. I think that's about 3 seconds or so ahead of us. So now we've finally kind of got some clear air, so we can try and see what we can do. As Joe is thinking about going to the inside again, but yeah, we're going to see what we can kind of do. As we've gone out wide now, so this is just not good. I was just so desperate to get clear air. My mind wasn't fully focused at this point, but now we've got a little bit clearer, and let's see what we can do. So moving on to lap 23, and we've actually caught up to Langman in those 4 laps, so pretty good pace with Jason coming along with us nicely as well. I think Joe's gone a little bit behind, but you can see the tyre wear. It's 82, 81%, and we have to pit. We have no choice but to pit now. Just about keeping my line. So you can see I'm trying to change my tyres coming to the pits, which is, I find it just so awkward on the controller actually doing that, as Jason jumps us, but then we re-jump him, out-braking him to the pit lane line. And I just didn't have my tyre selected at that point. I think I had dry tyres selected, so I was trying to turn and on a D-pad and doing the braking and throttle at the same time. It's easier said than done, but we've managed to actually get ahead of Jason. I think he had to change his wing anyway, so we wouldn't have lost anything. But Matiz sent the fastest lap on new intermediate tyres, and then we're going to come out in P8 with Reynolds, who jumped us. He pitted a lap earlier than us, and Matiz has now overtaken us. And again, I think he had some wing damage, which would result in him having a very long pit stop. So coming here now, it's, yeah, I was just trying to see what position I could really get, and if you get some clear air to just really unleash the pace of, I know what is possible. So coming out of pits now, Langman staying out an extra lap. He didn't actually really lose that much time. We gained him a little bit, but he still managed to maintain the position, so he's going to get used to his tyres. He's half defending down the inside already, probably predicting a dive bomb or something like that, but that enables us to get a very good exit coming up here now. So we're within range to maybe have a go here, so I couldn't quite remember if I do have a go here now. So he's not really defending this at this point, so we are going to have a go down the inside, but again, it's more of a 50-50 move. I didn't want to fully commit in case I T-boned him off the road. So now we've just got to focus on, yeah, just picking these cars off one by one if we can do that, and seeing what we can do. So we've got NOR Evo behind us as well. I don't know if he came out on the same lap as us, but we managed to just stay ahead of him as well. And we're going to stay on board here, so I think there's a little bit of action coming up on the next lap. So we've got myself, Langman, Matiz, and I think that's Reynolds ahead. So you can see again, look at the speed we have going through those corners, high speed corners. We just have so much grip, but it's just, again, as I always keep saying, it's just attraction and stability. I just felt I couldn't fully just commit to every corner. That it was really weird, but I know for next time that I'm definitely won't be running those suspension settings. It's good for time trial, I believe, but definitely just does not work in the wet at all. So now we're coming on to back of Langman once again, so still staying behind him. He doesn't compromise his line this time, and yeah, I don't think that anything did happen there actually, but we're going to move on to lap 27, and now we're with Reynolds, Langman and Matiz. So Matiz has managed to get past Reynolds, and Langman is now going from a move around the outside, so this is another opportunity. So we're just going to let this play out and just see what happens here. So a little bit of contact, I think, between all of them. So again, Reynolds is going to get a very poor exit coming up here now, so this is another opportunity. I don't know if we're quite in range. I'd like to think I wouldn't really go for this, as no, we don't. We brake late, going round the outside actually, in fact, so he's leaving us some room on the exit, but we just managed to just out traction him to the side by side, going to the left-hander, and it should be a pretty simple move down the inside now. And now we're into 7th place, and we've got 5th place ahead of us. So to be honest, going back to last at the start of the race, I would have taken 5th place. If he said to me I'm going to recover to 5th place, I would have been pretty happy with that. But now, moving on to lap 29, we've decided to stay out because the track is actually starting to dry. So you can see Alonso's come past us, almost hitting the wall. Alonso's actually going to come past us on the ultra soft tyres. So it's drying out, but I was really hoping that it would dry out in time so I could just ring out the stint and then just pit as late as possible, or the wets. They would have to pit again, them going on wets, but we went a little bit too far, and I think we've lost some time. As you can see, Matiz and Langman's way out ahead of us now, and Evo has managed to jump us as well. So again, staying out too long, just not a good strategic call. And overall, this race just wasn't really a well-executed race, like at all. It's probably one of my worst executed races that I've done. But we come out beside Reynolds, managing just managed to spot that corner, braking zone, getting out here into 8th place. And we can still see 5th, but it's going to be very difficult, very, very difficult. But we can see now, dry conditions, we've got the pace. The setup works very well in the dry. You can see the grip we've got going through these corners. It's working incredibly well, but yeah, there's nothing really we can do too much at this point. Now Langman, we're going to maybe think of a move here, so you can see how much speed we're gaining at this point. Coming towards the end of lap 33, thinking about going inside, but he actually goes wide. No real opportunities to go down the inside here. And DRS, and should have enough speed to maybe get alongside again, so he's defending very very, very early. So I think he just thinks I'm always going to go for every single overtake, trying to get a good exit here, but we don't. Dirty air, go onto the curb, and now we have to wait again till lap 35. So it looks like 7th is probably going to be the best we can do, unless someone ahead of him has penalties or something like that. Then we'll go just do the best we can at this point. Trying to get a good exit off here now. See, traction very good at this, very good in dry conditions. DRS, and I think he's probably going to defend once again. I think he does, but he actually leaves the door open last minute, so we're just going to go down the inside. He leaves some room in the exit, but we're just going to get slightly better traction, hugging the inside, which will give you a little bit of a slingshot. And now that is us into 7th place in this race, with Evo ahead of us, who was way behind us in the wet, but he managed to jump us because he just made the right strategic call. But coming now across the line, we have come 7th place in this race, and yeah, pretty frustrating race. Tried to not be too ranty or anything like that, but to be honest, that was all my errors. The first lap, I thought the gap was there, but 3 wide. You know, I think there's probably a racing incident, but it just didn't work at all. And yeah, I wouldn't have done that in future. And with the setup choice as well, I just think it was probably the wrong choice at all. And I was really, really struggling in those conditions when normally I feel so comfortable. It just didn't work. But you go have races like that where it just doesn't come to you in your favour. So you just got to deal with it, learn from it, and then just tackle the next one, which we got Silverstone. So looking forward to that one. Hopefully you enjoyed this slightly longer AOR highlights video, but as always, thank you for the support, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Somewhere where I can't be found, somewhere close to the ocean. crashing